So here is Asustor. Already the hard disk are there inside. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to connect this. Here is the network and then the power. Network is already connected and I'm going to connect the power here, turn this on. So here is the power switch and you can see here the lights have turned on here. You have to wait for 4 to 5 minutes. It will give you a beep. The moment it gives you beep, it means that you are now ready to begin the setup. And in order to begin the setup, we will be going to Asustor website, asustor.com. Here you can just click on support and in support, you can click on getting started. Do you know that only 10% of my viewers actually subscribe to this channel? That means 90% watch but never hit that subscribe button. I'm sure that you are not one of them. Subscribing takes just a second and it really helps support this channel. Liking, commenting, and sharing also helps the YouTube algorithm to understand that this video is valuable. If you have already subscribed, liked, and shared, thank you. If not, pause this video right now and hit that subscribe button, like, and drop a comment. It makes a huge difference. Now let's continue. I will choose Global English Language here. So here I'll be choosing the series. I have already written the blog. If you want to understand that what are all the features available, I have covered each and everything in detail. Here the model number is AS1102TL, AS11TL series. We'll be choosing AS11TL series. The moment you choose this, it will give you all the guide and you don't need to worry about it. I have already explained you how to set up the hardware. You simply need to unscrew and open the box, insert the hard drives, tighten with the screw, close the box, and simply connect the cables and turn it on. So you need to make sure that you are connected to the power, and I have already shown you. Right now I'm connected to power. I can see all the lights, network light is there, disk light is there, power light is there, and so on. So you have to then download Asustor Control Center. Alternatively, you can of course download the app and you can configure through app. I'll be using the software for the PC or Mac. You'll be clicking on download Asustor Control Center. So I'll be choosing Windows and here you can see the zip format file is available. I'll be simply extracting this here. So I'll be clicking this, it will download and start installing it. Accept the license agreement and create the desktop icon and install. The software is installed, so we'll simply finish the installation. It will be detecting Asustor 1102TL NAS storage. It has detected the IP address also. Model number is here, serial number is here, MAC address is here, whether the schedule is enabled, print server is enabled, and so on. So until it is initialized, you will not be, of course, perform various tasks. These are different services which are running right now, and there is no service right now running because the device is uninitialized. So we will simply click on uninitialize, so it will open the browser. And in case your device is not detected on the network, you can simply log into your DHCP server and you can see what address has been given to this particular device, which is, of course, for example, you can see here that the host name is AS1102TL, IP address is 10.11.12.200. You can check it from the DHCP server and colon 8000, which is the default port of this. The moment you open with the default port, you will see here that welcome to Asustor Data Master or ADM software. So ADM will be installed on this particular device here. Make sure that if you have installed the hard drive, it will of course erase everything, and 2 hard drives I have already inserted where I want to just continue with this because these are the new hard drives. There is no data into it. So we'll simply click next. So an update for the ADM, which is Asus Device Manager. So you will be installing this. We'll click next and it will start downloading the latest version. I will just wait for the update to complete and then I'll come back to you. It has given the beep now. It means that it is now restarting. So what happens here is that it will download the ADM file. It will delete the partitions of existing hard drives. It will build the file system and it will unpack the firmware and then it will update the system. I have got the beep again, license agreement of ADM, and will simply click on continue. Here is the appearance. Appearance is the dark theme. You can choose the light theme, but I would prefer dark theme. System initialization, you can do one-click setup or custom setup. I'll recommend you to do the custom setup and you can follow me enter the server name. I will be using the same and I will choose it Asustor also together with this. Enter your account name. Avoid using admin for the security reason. So you can choose any name here and password. And it says the weak password. Of course, I can change it later also. Click next. Here it has detected the time zone because the place where you are logged in from, it will automatically detect the time zone. Synchronize the NTP server, it is fine. So we'll click next. You can see the network interface. There is only one network interface right now, which is LAN 1. We cannot choose, of course, any other interface. Only one interface is available. Now here is obtain IP address automatically or set up the IP address manually. Now, this is very critical part here. If you are using this at only one network where you just want to connect and keep it connected on your network, and when you are not changing the IP address of your networks, then I will recommend you to go with the manual IP address. But if you are frequently taking your device and connecting on another network, now for example, today you are connecting it at your home, tomorrow you might be connecting at your office, you can choose the DHCP. I will be setting up manually, so I will be choosing manual IP address and I'll be assigning it an IP address 10.11.12.111, and here the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0, which is fine. It is /24 network. Gateway, I will be choosing same. If you are not familiar with the IP addressing and so on, don't confuse yourself. Just obtain the IP address automatically. If you want to make sure that it doesn't change automatically next time, so you can just set up the IP address by yourself. Usually the DNS is default, which is 10.11.12.1. So you can choose 1.1.1.1 or 8.8.8.8, which is Google or Cloudflare accordingly. Don't use the same IP address. Make sure that you use the IP address of your network range. Because if you choose any IP address which is not of your range, you might get disconnected and you will not be able to connect this particular NAS storage until and unless you remember what IP address, what subnet mask, and what default gateway you have chosen. So I'll be using this one for my network because my network address is this. So simply click next. Now at this stage, it will show you what type of disks you have. This particular model supports only 2 hard drive. It supports 22 terabytes drive. So you can have 22 terabyte and 22 terabyte. And then you can choose the type of RAID. RAID is, of course, redundant array of independent disks. So these are 2 disks. So if you choose RAID level as 0, so what does it mean? That it will combine the storage. So 1 terabyte and 1 terabyte, it will give you 2 terabyte of storage, but there is no fault tolerance. It will be good for the speed or performance, but if you lose any of these drive, your entire data will be lost. So RAID 0 is not recommended. Alternatively, you can use RAID 1. RAID 1 will mirror the drives, which means that whatever is written on one disk, the same will be written on another disk also. In that case, if you lose even one drive, your data is again available on another drive. In this particular model, I will definitely recommend you to go with RAID 1. Of course, you cannot choose RAID 5 or RAID 10 or RAID 6 because for that, you need to have at least 3 drives. But this particular model does not support 3 drives. You can see here that I have already mentioned. So maximum drives which we can insert is 2 drives. 10 is combination of RAID 1 and RAID 0. So you need to have at least 4 drives in this. For this, at least 3 drives, and for this also 3 or 4 drives. But here you will need only 2 drives. So if you need maximum storage capacity and your redundancy is not definitely the major concern, then you can go with JBOD. But if you want to really have the data protection, you want to have the fault tolerance, then you go with RAID technology. So we'll be using RAID. You can see here if I choose JBOD, it says that data protection is not available in this. It will give you the maximum storage. But if you go with RAID 0 also, there is no data protection. But if you go with RAID 1, which means that the same data is written on both the drives, so you will go with that particular technology. So now here is the file system, ext4 and Btrfs. There are a variety of reasons why would you go for Btrfs and why would you go for ext4. ext4 in comparison to Btrfs is faster. Btrfs snapshots are supported. So if you want to go with some backup solution where you need to have snapshots, then you go with Btrfs. If you want to go with self-healing, so Btrfs supports the self-healing. So I have provided the comparison also. You can understand that in which cases, in which scenarios you can go with ext4 and in which scenarios you will need to go for the Btrfs. So I'll be going with ext4, but choice is yours and I will choose confirm. And I will choose these both disks because I want to add these both disks into the ext4. And here it will create a RAID 1 and I'll just start initializing. If you remember that we changed the IP address of this, now its IP address is changed and it has logged in with the new IP address automatically. If this is my first Asustor, so I will be creating the Asustor ID here. So I'll be using those for home lab and I would like to receive information. I will not go with that and simply click next. So your account is set up now. So you can now start using Asustor. HTTP port is 8000 and system HTTPS port is 8001. You can change it, of course, in case you want, but I will be going ahead with this and click OK. So you can, of course, run this wizard. It will guide you through the process, but we will not go with that. I will explain you how we are going to use it. So simply click don't ask again. And now you can see here one of the modern operating systems. We will first of all go to the settings here. And if I click on setting, you can see here network. And in network, in case you want to make the changes to your network interface, only one interface is there, of course. And as you know that we changed the IP address, which was 10.11.12.111. You can change the IP address from here only. You can just click on configure. Then you can set up the IP address manually or automatically. In case you have the VLAN on your network, you can enable the VLAN and provide the VLAN ID. So network setup can be done here. In general, you can change the port also, and you can also change the auto logout. In page style, you can choose the themes also here, and even you can change the background. You can bring in your own background. And then here is the customized image for the logo. So this is login page, and here is the customized image for the logo. I will browse for the logo and I will upload the new logo if the logo is already not available. Here is my logo. I will just simply add that logo and select this and OK. Now my logo is also added. You can see here logo is added and the background image is also changed. I will apply. Let me log out now and I will log in again and I will show you that. You can see here that our background has changed. So we will be logging in again here and I click on stay signed in and sign in. Again, I'll go to settings and in settings, change the date and time format. You can choose the time zone and you can choose the language here. In hardware now, you can see here that you can control the LED brightness from here. LED night mode setup can also be done here. So whether you want to disable the drive light, power light, status light or LAN light. And then is the buzzer. Buzzer is the beep that you will get. At what time you will get the beep once it is powered on, once it is powered off, once it is restarting, once there is any error or once there is any warning. I will go with default, it is fine. Then is the notification. So how you want to get the notifications, whether by email, by SMS, by push notification or advanced. ADM Defender, if you want to prevent the hackers from trying to access your NAS, malicious attacks can also be stopped. This is really a great functionality which is available here. So I can deny all the connections and I can allow only specific IP addresses. As I'm already using firewall on my network, so I won't be doing that. So I will allow all the connections. Then is certificate manager in case you want to have the SSL certificate configured for your Asustor. You can do that also. And then is ADM update. So whenever you want to update this, right now it shows that your system is up to date. If you want to update it to newer version, so you'll be using that. Then is the network recycle bin. So if you want to enable the recycle bin, it will restore any deleted files also. Then is scheduling. In scheduling, you can choose the quick setup. Like for example, ADM will resize and convert the photos and thumbnails if you want to schedule this automatically. So we can choose the schedule automatically. So this will improve the performance of your storage, in fact, because every time it will not be converting the photos into thumbnails. It will be doing it only at schedule. So you can choose that schedule. I will choose nighttime as off-peak hours. So it will resize the photos and images from this time, and other time it will be off. And then is automatic drive information updates and it will be updating it daily. We will go to Easy Connect. Easy Connect is cloud storage. So manual connect is that in case you don't want to use the Easy Connect, you can connect it manually using your public IP or DNS account. So I won't be going with that. We'll do that later. Finally is the factory reset in case you want to initialize the NAS on the factory restore where all the data will be deleted, all the settings will be deleted and so on. So this was all about settings. Now we are into the NAS storage. And one more thing that I want to mention in network is the maximum transmission unit. So if you go to MTU, you choose this MTU and if you just edit this, configure this, here it shows you MTU is 1500. So MTU is in fact maximum transmission unit. So default is always on the local area network, it is 1500. Optionally, you can choose 9000. It is of course optional. You don't need to necessarily change it. the MTU 9000 should also be supported by the switch. So if switch configuration is fine, so you can go with this. So now why you should go for it if you are using 10 GB network adapter. So I will recommend you to go for 9000. Otherwise, you can leave it 1500. You will just apply the changes. And then you can also go to your computer settings and change the settings also in the device manager of your computer. Go to your network devices, right click here, properties, and in advanced, you can go to the jumbo packet here. And in jumbo packet, you can choose 9 kilobyte here or 9014 bytes, which is 9 kilobyte here, and okay. Now, whenever you will be connecting on this particular network, so the packet size 9 kilobyte here, and the MTU that we have chosen here was 9000. So you can see here maximum transmission unit is 9000, and we did the changes here into the device manager by going into the network adapter, go into advanced, and here we'll be choosing the jumbo packet size, and it will be 9014 bytes or 9 kilobyte. So this is done here. This is based on your network requirements, in fact. Another important thing is Easy Sync Manager, which will help you to synchronize the files from your desktop directly into NAS. So I will click on Easy Sync. You can see here that you can download it for the Easy Sync for your desktop. You can download for the mobile app, and either it is App Store or Android Store. Of course, you can try App Store and Android Store, but for the sake of this tutorial, we'll be using the Easy Sync for the desktop. And here the software is available. I'll simply click on download, download for Windows. And here you go. Easy Sync is being downloaded for Windows. I will simply click this, and here we will extract this, and it will give us the software. I will simply click, choose the language, and now we will start it. Let me create one folder here. My computers, I'll be creating, for example, tutorial, and in tutorial, I'll be adding a new file here. Maybe this will be a Word file, a text file, and an Excel file, suppose. So these are 3 files which are available in this particular folder. So we'll be just starting with the Asus Easy Sync. So I will just click here, host IP address. We know the IP address, of course, as you have already seen it. We were doing the configuration of this. So it is 10.11.12.111. In your case, it could be anything. So I'll be using 10.11.12.111, username and the password. And port right now, as you have seen already, port is 8000. So we'll be choosing port 8000. So I'll be choosing HTTP right now because we have already connected with HTTP. Click next. Now it is saying that sync 2 ways, which means that if you delete it from the NAS, it will also delete from here. If you delete it from the PC, it will also delete from the NAS. So if you remember, we created these 3 files. So in case you want to add any new file, it will add over there also. So synchronization should take place in 2 ways, or PC to NAS or NAS to PC. So I will do it in 2 ways and select the PC location. So I will be choosing the PC location by clicking here to the location which I was using, and this was the tutorial. And NAS location we can choose from here. You can see here Easy Sync. I can create a new folder and I can say tutorial. Now in this particular folder, the data will be stored. So Easy Sync tutorial is created. Click next. Now setup is completed right now, and here it is giving you the guide also. You can scroll through it, otherwise you can simply close it. Right now you can see that sync is completed and it is right now running. In case you want to pause it, you can pause it also. Once you add any new file, it will of course automatically synchronize. So I'll close this and I will show you that it will be available here in the system tray also. You can see here Easy Sync. You can simply click this and it will show you all the notifications. Easy Sync is of course running right now. You can see the connections, how many devices are connected. You can see here. This is Amjad Zenbook. So my PC name is available here. Logs will be seen here. So you can see tutorial is added to Easy Sync. Information will be available here. What is the storage available and what is free. And then is the settings here. You can of course choose the file history backup and so on. A recycle bin can be enabled and disabled, and what is available in the recycle bin, you can see that as well. So I will close this now. You can see we used Easy Sync setup, Easy Sync Manager, to synchronize the files from your computer to the NAS. Now my files are backed up here. If I click on File Explorer now, so these are the ADM folders and here are the Easy Sync, and in Easy Sync you can see here tutorial. I can even upload the file. I will upload any file. For example, I will upload this particular file here. If I'm accessing this from anywhere, I will simply upload the file here And once it is synchronized, it will be automatically available here. You can see here that this particular file is added here. So let us see if the synchronization has taken place. And here in settings, you can of course limit the upload speed and download speed in case you are concerned about your bandwidth, but it is fine here. You can see the tasks and logs here. And in case you want to edit the configuration here, right now you can see here NAS and PC, these are synchronized both ways. We can choose any filter here. If you don't do any filter, you can apply the changes. It is completely now synchronized. You can see here synchronized is completed. I will simply open the files again here. You can see all the files are now available. Earlier, I filtered the documents. That document should not be synchronized. So that's why the documents were not available. In case if I add any file here, for example, I will just change its name. It will be tutorial 1. You can see here tutorial 1 is synchronized here. So if I change this, for example, renamed from NAS. So it is renamed here. You can see here renamed from NAS. So again, if I go back here and refresh this now, so you can see here renamed from NAS. So this is quickly doing the synchronization of your file. Now, of course, all the files are being backed up to your NAS. But what about backing up your NAS? So if you want to back up Asustor NAS to any other NAS, so you can do the backup and restore. If I click on a remote thing, you can do Asustor NAS backup, or you can do Rsync compatible servers. So you can do the SMB backup also, you can do FTP backup also, you can do the internet backup also, and you can even do the backup to external drives also. There are now limitless possibilities available with you. Now I'll quickly take you through other aspects. For example, if you have external drives, so you can connect the external drive. Once you connect the external drive, of course, then you can set up the external drive, that how the external drive should behave, whether you want to back up the data and so on, so you can use in that way. And then is the access control here in case you want to create the users. If you have multiple users on your network, so you can choose that. You can see here by default admin and guest, these both users are disabled. We created the new user, which is system admin. You can of course change its name also. So description is system admin right now. You can change the name. So folder access, you can see here the public folder, read-write access, whether you want to give the read-write access to web and all, you can do that. So you can create multiple users, of course, here if I want to add a new user or add a multiple users or import the users. So it depends on your setup. If you are setting it up in your office and you have many users, so you can simply import those users and then you can have those local users here. So if you have Active Directory, you can join this particular NAS to your domain and then it will automatically synchronize those users into your Asustor. So it is of course a good idea, as this particular model is for the home and small offices, but of course Asustor has ADM available and that ADM can be used for any size of your network. Once you have configured it, then you can of course modify the users and you can modify the groups and so on. Then you can create of course the shared folders, and these shared folders will be accordingly for different users. So I can create a shared folder here. For example, I will say Amjad data, and I can choose the volume, which is of course volume 1, only one volume is there, and invisible on network or not. So I will be choosing that. Read only for all the users. So I will not give access to any user. I will simply click next. And now to which user you want to give the access. I want to give read and write permission to Amjad, and then either you want to encrypt the folder. I will not encrypt the folder. Next and finish. Now I have created the folder here. You can see here Amjad data. And if I double click this, you will see here access is read and write. I can of course deny access to other users. So deny access. So read write or read only. So I will not give any read only access to anyone. So I will deny the access, but I will give the read write access to Amjad. So here I will restart the SMB service also or FTP service also the moment I have made the changes. Now I can access this shared folder from the network. So how I can do, I will just run and I will do /10.11.12.111. If I open this now, I can simply enter my user ID and password, enter here. Now you can see here Amjad data is available right now. So you can see here Amjad data. I will simply add any file here. For example, this particular file I have added here. Now this file is also available as a shared folder into the NAS storage. I will simply now close this. I will go to File Manager. In File Manager, you can see here Amjad data is available in ADM right now, and you can see here this file is available here. I can modify the file here. apply the changes, and here if I go, and you can see here the file has been changed. So this is not synchronizing, of course, directly we are accessing the folder. Difference between share and file sync. In this particular scenario, when you're using Easy Sync, it will have the 2 copies of the same file at both the places. One file is at your PC and another file is on the NAS. But when you are using the shared folder, of course, in shared folder, the file is only available here in this particular storage. Then is the activity manager. If you click on activity manager, you will see here the performance of your server, CPU, memory, network, drive, and iSCSI. Of course, iSCSI is not yet created, so iSCSI can also be seen from here. Then is the processes, which processes are currently running. You can see all of those processes. The usage of the drive right now, 900 GB is free and 9 GB is used. 60 KB is for the App Central. So we install the apps also, and I'll show you that. In settings, you can of course make the changes here. So then is the App Central. There are various applications that you can install. I will simply agree to it, agree to the terms and conditions. You can see here that home personal applications, you can install the professional design applications, business applications, which are provided by Asustor. Home Assistant can be installed, Docker Engine can be installed, Postgres database can be installed. There are many possibilities. If you have enough server resources, I will be using mainly this for the storage and so on. I will not be installing applications because on my home lab, I have various other applications. So this is the App Central where you can install additional applications for your Asustor. Services, what services are right now running? NAS storage is working as an SMB server. SMB is the Samba server where we have already seen it that we can access the shared folders on the network using this. Then is AFP, which is of course Apple Filing Protocol. So as I'm using the MacBook also, so I will be enabling this service also. I will enable the Time Machine also so that I can backup as well. So I'll be choosing the Time Machine folder for Amjad here and apply here. So my AFP service is also enabled, which means that now NAS storage is working as the Apple file server also. Then is the NFS, which is Network File System. Of course, there are various services which need the NFS to be enabled. So I'm using Proxmox here, and in order to connect Asustor with the Proxmox, I can go to storage and I can add NFS here. You can see here NFS, and that NFS, if the service is enabled on Asustor, I can start backing up my virtual machines directly here into Asustor. So this is also one of the options. Then is FTP. If you want this server to work as an FTP, where through FTP you can of course make the backups to this particular server. This is also a great choice. You can use through port forwarding. You can do the port forwarding, and you can of course store all the files remotely on this particular server. WebDAV will help you to explore the files in the web browser, of course. So that is also possible, but I will not recommend you to do that. Then is terminal in case you want to access the SSH. If you want to enable the SSH to this server, so you can do that also. Rsync is also one of the service which can help you to remotely backup different servers into this particular server. This is also one of the great feature. If you are using home lab, if you are at your office, this service can help you to synchronize the file from the NAS to the NAS and so on. So remote backups can also be done here. TFTP server is to transfer the file between 2 machines. I will be using this particular service for the Pixie boot, which is definitely helpful. So you can create a folder of TFTP service, and then you can put in the files which you want to transmit using trivial file transfer protocol to the other machines. Then is SNMP. In case you want to monitor the server, you can of course enable the SNMP service, which will send the logs for your particular server or NAS storage to other external service. SFTP is a secured FTP server, so you can enable this and use that. Then is reverse proxy. In case you want to use this server as a reverse proxy server, you can use that, but I'm already using the reverse proxy on my network. I won't be using that. But you can see here there are various services which are available. This particular NAS storage can be used as a server. And what services are available, you can see here. It can be an SMB server, it can be AFP server, it can be a network file system server, it can be FTP server, WebDAV server, and it is a terminal also. Terminal access can be done, Rsync server, TFTP server. So one single server can have multiple services available. Now, in case you want to monitor the drive usage, in case you want to add additional drives or check the status of your hard drive, so you can simply click here. Overall, the RAID is healthy right now. RAID 1 is configured. There are 2 drives right now. Both are healthy. And here you can see drives inside your NAS storage or AS1102TL. 2 drives are there and both are right now fine. So I can simply click on volume. So you can see here RAID 1 is configured, 911 GB, and volume is fine. 2 disks are within this volume. In case you want to see individual drives, I can click on drives. It will show me the drives. These are 2 drives. You can see the status and health of this drive, also temperature of this also. And here you can see both the drives are available. As I mentioned, up to 22 terabyte of drives can be added over here. Now, if you want to create the iSCSI also, so you can create Internet SCSI, which is a drive that can be created, a virtual drive that you can create, and this virtual drive can be used by other devices or other servers or systems on the network. I have covered this already many times in the other NAS storages also, how you can create. Then is the system information. You can, of course, see the complete system information or the information of your NAS storage here. You can see what version of ADM you are using, what BIOS version is there, what is the system time right now, time zone and hardware information and CPU temperature and so on. Network information is available here. LAN 1 is connected and what is the information of that. And then the log, you can see all the logs, what has happened, who has been doing what. These are system logs also, connection logs are also there, the file access logs are there. So connection log will help you to understand that who has been connecting to your NAS storage. And then is the online users. In case you have created any online user, you can see here Samba user is connected, which is right now connected here the way we have connected. So it is always good idea to check the system information and to check what is happening right now. So Btrfs will help you to take the snapshots of this also, but I won't be using that, so I will just ignore this. Then is the web center. In case you want to use Asustor as your web server also, so you can simply click this and enable this as a web server. You can see here that a web server is created here. You can install the PHP implementation and then you can start creating the virtual host and so on. So this can also work as a web server in case you want to have the personal websites hosted on your own network. You can use the web center for that purpose. Then is Dr. Asustor. Dr. Asustor is an app which will help you to diagnose. It is diagnosing everything, hard disk, data backups, bad sector count, and so on. And it will give you the information. Right now, it says that medium risk because there is no backup tasks found. And as I mentioned that you can backup your NAS to other NAS also and other Rsync servers also. If you click this, it will open the same option of backup and restore. So we have covered all the aspects related to the ADM, which are default applications available. Of course, you can install many applications and you can check all the installed apps here. Right now, there is no app installed. You can update the existing apps. Otherwise, if you want to manually install it, you can click on management. So if you have any APK file of the Asustor, so you can upload it and it will work. If you have enough resources available, you can simply go with the all apps and you can install the Docker engine and then you can install all the containerized applications. So I'll show you that how we can install these applications. On top, you can see here the user. Of course, you can restart the server, you can power off the server, or you can sign out, or you can see the personal information. Here you can see all the notifications. So whatever system notifications will be here, you will see here. And here is the dashboard. If you click on dashboard, of course, these are all the widgets that you can create. For example, I will remove all the widgets. You can click here and you can add the widgets. So you can add the storage manager. So it will show you the storage manager and the available disk size and available usage. And the status also, it shows you good here. So in case you want to monitor if everything is fine here, whether something is going wrong in your storage, you can just simply click here. It will give you a quick overview. Then you can add more resources. For example, activity monitor. You can see here the LAN status, CPU status, and memory status here. Then if I click here, online users, you will see who is connected right now. You can see here, I'm connected using HTTP and HTTPS protocol. And then I can add some important logs also in case you want to monitor it. I have added all the widgets on this dashboard so you can see it and hide it. And here you can search anything you want. For example, if I want to see services, so you can see services here. Even you can search for the file also here in case if there is any file available. It will quickly search anything from your NAS, whether it is application, whether it is service, or whether it is the file. And here then you can see the preferences. So whether it is services, whether it is access control, or whether it is settings. So I can quickly, for example, access the Rsync server, just look for the backup modules and all of that. So quickly this can be configured from here. So a lot of things are available here. And recently, I was just speaking to Asustor. They have mentioned that this particular storage supports 24 terabytes now. So this was all about the Asustor. We have covered each and every aspect of Asustor. We have seen what is ADM, how to configure it, and how it works. So let us continue to next video. I will be uploading more videos related to Asustor. So let us continue to next video now.